I would say each month I probably spend 3 to 4 of the weeks out of a month on the road. It's always in the airport, it's always in an Uber, it's always in a shuttle, it's always in a taxi, it's always on the go.
Let's go, bye.
Here, I moved to Orlando earlier this year with some friends of mine. And I think it's where I want to establish like base camp in my adult life.
But I'm at the train station now and headed to DreamHack. So the train is going to arrive in a couple of minutes. I would say every month is a bit different from the other one. That's pretty much the coast of Denmark up here where I live, and then we're going all the way down to Copenhagen and across. Lately, it's been 3 out of 4 weeks of the month I'm probably gone. I've got 2 kids, obviously, one at 4.5 and one that's just 7 months. So the worst thing about traveling is definitely being away from my family. And now we're at the last stretch. Next time we'll be in Sweden at the hotel.
I feel like it's just, oh, I'm going to a job, I gotta travel for it. It's just kind of a package deal for me. But yeah, traveling is hard. I don't know what it is, but my back lately has definitely screamed at me like, hey, you need to be a little more physically aware. I'm awful at being an adult and being healthy, but I'm trying. This morning I woke up and I stretched, which is a big deal for me.
View from the hotel room, it's not so bad, could be better. I like the bridge view 10 times better than this, but I am treated with one delicacy thereof, Sweden, right there as a reminder of exactly to where I am. It is about noon here, I believe, a little after noon. So I've got to fight jet lag, which ultimately means there's no rest for the wicked. And usually the guys and I will try to get settled in, maybe go out for dinner, and just try to fight what is the jet lag machine.
Really, the first thing I gotta do is put my broadcast clothes, I guess, hang it up so that it's nice and unwrinkly, or as unwrinkly as it can be, I guess. And then, check this out.
I'll give you guys a little tour. I've been in this hotel a fair few times, but it's got a bathtub. Big fan of bathtubs, and everything else pretty normal.
Pronouncenames.com.
Sick website.
Malmö.
Let's get one from you, Jason.
Malmö.
So listen, this is how we train for all events. When we went to Dallas, Chad had to train for like 2 days straight. It was outrageous, really.
Hey, guys.
Hey, good to see you. Oh, it's so nice seeing you. It's been, what, a couple weeks? Yeah.
I'm not gonna stand up.
I'm just gonna
dead.
listen. I'm gonna tell her to mute this
Just
shit.
cut the audio.
Yeah, cutting the audio.
What about the audio? Play some music here.
I was in the Army before Esports. I've worked construction jobs, I've worked like regular 9 to 5s, but this is a very unique group. There are egos that float around to a healthy narcissistic level, which I didn't even know existed before I got involved at a talent level. But then you sort of bounce off that, you vibe off that, and you realize like, okay, we're all kind of in the same boat, and we're all kind of not doing the exact same thing, but we're all very much in it together.
Oh, it's actually, whoa, there's some, this is heavy.
Yeah, don't hit anyone with it.
There's so many personalities in esports. Well, I'm sure there are people that are just do it for the money, that everyone's just here kind of having fun. Like they happen to be good at what they do and now they get to capitalize on that, so they're getting paid for it. Like if at my job in my dentist office, I'd show up, we'd talk, it would be the same. Like we'd have the same conversations, which is great. But it's totally different here. We talk about gaming and we talk about, like, the conversations are just different.
Better?
For sure better, because I can relate to the conversations with all my gaming friends versus my dental friends. We were talking about teeth, come on.
Here we are in the middle of the gym. It is a very common hotel gym. So some weights, rowing machine, which is currently killing me. If I could design every day just perfectly, if there were no interruptions and nothing went wrong, then yeah, that's probably how every day would start for me. It's gym, sauna, cold shower. That's the trio I'm looking for.
Today is the first arena day. A little bit of sickness is starting to set in, so I've got the ever coveted Joe and the juice, a little bit of tea, a little bit of pressed ginger. Anyway, I'm gonna start walking into the venue before the cues start, and let's get this party started, huh? Before I go live, I think about a lot of different things. Obviously, the segment at hand and the game that's going on, and kind of guide the community as to the storylines. And then I have production in my ear, who's trying to get the game started on time. I think the easiest way to equate this would be like an American football quarterback. The show isn't necessarily about me, but I help to steer the ship.
Come shake, please. Camera 4.
Loud and clear.
Okay, the same as yesterday. I really liked it. Me too. It was really nice.
Full screen.
Ready to?
Commercials soon. Ah, yeah. Ready for commercial. 2:30. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What goes through my mind before a broadcast? Don't stutter, be confident, and don't talk too much. It's a learning process. I like it when someone can be short and simple and concise, and that's what I'm trying to work for, I think.
Okay, so before we go into the studio, we're going to show Crane 4 and Crane 7.
Be ready for show opener full screen.
In Crane 7, you're still on clean feed.
Right before we go live, sometimes I like to clown around a little bit to break the ice of the atmosphere. I think it helps them a little bit sometimes to just kind of goof around. All right, well, let's have a good show. No pressure, everyone. Just look at your tally lights, mind my cues. If I can keep that upbeat vibe at all times, if I can keep a tempo going towards the death segment, then we've got gold right there.
What's up?
Jacob. Let's do it. Ready?
Every event has been different of what I thought about right before it goes live, but that countdown is intimidating. Oh, it's happening. We're going live. It's happening right now.
3, 2, 1, now.
The Corsair DreamHack Masters is back in town.
Be ready, Frankie. Position 1, Edvard. Be ready for Frankie, position 1.
Put 1. Camera 2, now.
Mama Arena, you ready?
Ready 1 with name.
Countdown for Eric for the sound tail. Good start, everyone.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, it was so great.
So anyway, great hustle, everyone.
As soon as we're done with our segment and I'm walking back to the green room, it's just, I'll replay what I just said. And it's generally I'm pretty harsh on myself. So I'm filled with regret most of the time walking back to the green room. I don't like being hard on myself, but I appreciate it, you know. I'd rather be hard on myself than be like, who cares?
Well, right now it's one.
Fantastic here. It's not going to be his great once again. No signs of slowing down at this stage. 5 rounds in a row.
it's one of the hardest things to balance, being away from the family and with all the travel and everything else. I mean, I think one thing that I did a lot in the beginning that was a big mistake was I would travel away for a week. You know, suddenly it would be 4 days and I had hardly ever, maybe I'd send a message or two, but I hadn't really called or anything. And if you're in a different hotel room every week and that's almost all you do, and there's no connection between those places apart from the people that you run into, right? There's no like red line that goes through your life at some point. I think, you know, going to the gym, reading a book, just having some other interest, anything you can do like that, but then having a relationship is obviously going to be the ultimate one, where there's something that you can keep as a line through your life, right? And something that's going to make sense. I think that's really, really important.
I was actually just having this conversation the other day with someone else in the green room, and we talked about how hard it is, and our lifestyle is not conducive to a relationship, and it's not an easy feat at all. When you're home less than 3 months out of the year, you know, how are you supposed to have that as the building blocks? How is that the foundation? When every single day I'm in a different country than this person, and you start to grow separately in a sad sort of way.
I feel like 2019 work and personal life is one and the same thing. I've never consciously decided to balance it, or that I had to balance it. It's literally just me and my dog. So there's not a lot of balance necessary in my life at the moment. And that's how I like it. So for me, it's pretty easy, I think.
So like the point that I'm making is, do you know when you're like email about something and sad about something? No one has an answer to it. No one can quantify it. No one can actually work out why. And your version of sadness is quite different from Tracy's and Christine's and mine and everything.
I feel like events like these are really important because esports is growing at a huge rate, but it's still nowhere near capacity or anything. So I think it's still important for people to feel like they belong. Like when you're at these events, you can see it. It's pretty cool. Hi, Frankie.
I'm so worried I'm gonna get stuck on my team.
She's filming us.
I got her on my team. Sorry. There's a VT coming up in the cafe and aftertime show, with some of the players talking about coaches.
Yeah.
And Golden is just like a good. What makes a good coach, like he or she will be this and stuff like that. And I was like, most players wouldn't even like think about that. I thought that was really nice.
Golden.
Yeah, it's really, really sweet. Like the most natural.
The big part about Corsair DreamHack Masters is just the overall environment. DreamHack does things differently than basically everyone. When I step onto the set and I look around at the people that are putting on the production, or you know, the tournament admins, you just go down a list of people that you could say, you know, they genuinely care about what's going on from the moment you step in, and it's got a real family vibe to it.
I think one of the things that we always see when we come back here to Malmö, and also some of the other Masters events we've been to around the world, is like a sense of audience participation. I feel like I'm at a sporting event, like that's the same kind of feeling, right? That's actually one area, even though people love competition, where like the entire industry has to make that work all the time. Like every time somebody puts on a successful event, they are helping everybody else and themselves.
Sweden. Give it up for Saranthus!
I never expected CSGO to be my life path. I don't know what I was thinking, actually. I wonder how I managed to continue to keep playing. So even if I had work the next morning, but my practice ran late, I would never cut practice short in order to sleep enough to be efficient at work the next day. I would just sacrifice my work,
The weird thing is you think at that time that all you've done is entertain yourself, right? It's just entertainment. You don't think necessarily that it's then also going to be the thing that you can actually spend your time on.
Counter-Strike was just an automatic, so it was always priority number one. But while doing that, I never imagined that Counter-Strike would be my life, even though it was my life.
I don't know what my life would have been without Counter-Strike in some sense. Like it feels so weird saying that.
I feel like Counter-Strike and this entire thing has given me so much in my life to stand on. In hard times, in the best of times, whether it be through friendships or through hardships at home. It's exactly where I want to be at all times, consumed by Counter-Strike.
I think I just lucked out, like I lucked out.
Sound cues at this stage. Players in front of him. It could be the double spray down. That's absolutely massive from the young Swedish star. He holds his nerve, and it will be the half victory now from Fnatic.
It's meant to stick around. It can't be killed somehow. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's something special.
So crazy, right? Like where we are right now. You're interviewing me for talking about Counter-Strike. We're in an arena, in a locker room. Like everything is still, it's wild.
I've been playing Counter-Strike itself for a long time. I've made lifelong friends, and it was like, hey, where are you from, man? And they said, oh, I'm a small town in Alabama. You wouldn't know it. I said, okay, try me. Next thing you know, we're like at the age of 10, 11, 12, having LAN parties. And I would have never met this group of guys. It's Cody, Eric. Had it not been for Counter-Strike. When I told you I moved to Orlando, I lived with those guys. We've been best friends ever since.
I feel like this is a therapy session. You're not gonna use any of this footage in this fucking film.